Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bunch of Us podcast. This is Dan here with Cass. We got our buddy Jason on for this one. He is our Indiana expert. But first, I just gotta say, Michigan, you got belt to ass. Ohio State ends the losing streak against Michigan. It was glorious, guys. I mean, I don't know who wants to take the reins here, but what were your thoughts on the game and the outcome of the game?
I mean, just like you said, boots dealt the ass, man. You know, we got worried there for like 5 minutes, but I think all in all, I think the way the twinkle was in Ryan Day's eye, you just knew something was going to happen. And the funny thing is all them fans calling for snow all week long, and here comes Julian saying the California Surfer boy with short sleeves on there, just slinging the ball around. The way the game progressed is in reality, Julian Sain could have threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in reality. But the funny part is Ryan Day said, "Oh, Bo Jackson, Isaiah West, even C.J. Donaldson's running the ball well. How about we just ram it down their throat for a 12 play drive for a 18 play drive that took 12 minutes off the clock? Like let's just
I
do that."
think it was 20 plays, I want to say. I
Yeah, it
think
was 21
It was
play like
like
21 plays for 81 yards and took 12 minutes off the clock.
when I'm not gonna lie, Bo Jackson was running like a madman. It was it kind of reminded me a little bit of Trey Sermon in the Big Ten championship. Like obviously different running styles, but just how he was running possessed. That one run he had, I
The
think it was
stutter
early,
step.
the stutter step, and
that was beautiful.
that calmed everyone down. But I gotta say, I felt something on that. Like I I haven't felt excitement in a play like that in a like all season. I feel like because it's like leading up to the game. The games haven't been that crazy. Yeah, Texas was a big game, but I haven't felt something like that since like the playoff run or like since like Fields hit Olave for like the touchdown against Clemson. It was just such a sick run, and he didn't score on it, but it was I don't know. It was really cool.
I don't know, it reminds me a lot of the Travion Henderson versus Texas game. A lot of it, like Bo Jackson running, he just he didn't care who was in front of you. He didn't care who was around you. He was gonna just go through you.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. Um, and the receivers obviously they did their job. The one guy I do want to highlight who I had an awesome day, and no one's really talking about this, Will Kazmarek.
I was
Um,
gonna mention Will Kazmarek.
two catches, 30 yards, and just absolute road grader blocking. He came to play. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about more about him, Jason, but I thought he really showed out.
I was just gonna give him a huge shout out for that pancake.
Oh, dude, he bought yeah, Derek Moore, who
Where
has
he
like
bodied Derek Moore.
just threw him down. And I like, and did you guys see the clip? Like, I think Derek Moore was trying to fight people after the game. Was that him?
Yeah, it was him trying to fight fans. I sent that to you, Dan.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
I I just look at it this way, like people are saying Ohio State paid off the refs. The Ohio if Ohio State paid off the refs, then why did Ohio State have 6 penalties and Michigan only have one? Like like
I
For 3 yards. And it
They
was a headbutt to an official.
should have been an ejection. Also, there was a phantom penalty on the kickoff or whatever that like they called against Michigan, and then they just threw it to Ohio State. They called a phantom PI on Jermaine Matthews that was 10 yards out of bounds, but because Underwood overthrew it by a mile. Like what?
the best part is when Nick Marsh was body checking people, including Keenan Bailey, and then
Oh yeah,
comes out had 0 catches for 0 yards. Like that's that thing, and then them waiting at the block M
That
after
was
the
beautiful.
game is the most. I and while Ohio State players are celebrating with their fans in the stands, is going to be one of the most iconic pictures of this year, because those guys like, and even Brandon Ennis tweeting out and tweeting back at him said, "Well, if you were so worried about guarding the block in, why didn't you guard us out of the end zone?" Like, and then you had Brutus trolling him, like.
Oh, that was great. Brutus spent more time in the end zone than what Michigan did.
He did. Look, Ryan Day can control his players. He has no jurisdiction over Brutus. Like Brutus is his own entity, man. Brutus
I was gonna say
Brutus runs
Brutus
the
is
show here.
Hey, I mean, I'm stealing this from a fan that was on Menace to Sports. I don't know who said it, but the dude straight up put in a Rumble chat for Menace to Sports this week that said Ryan Day went into Sharon Moore's house on Thanksgiving Day, sat in Sharon Moore's recliner, asked Sharon Moore's wife to make him a sandwich, and then kicked everybody in Sharon Moore's house out of his own house.
Yeah.
they just
It's,
fired
Like,
their special teams coach too.
do you think it was the right decision not to plant a flag? I'm
yeah.
just
I think they should have let the players definitely like at least put the Ohio versus the world. Just lay it down on the M.
they
Well, a lot
flashed
of
it. They flashed it over it. They like
Yeah,
Caleb Downs and them. They were holding it. They took a couple pictures, but
well
they
they do that a lot at every game. They like even back in 2016
didn't.
or 17, they held up the basic defense sign in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, they hold the flag. They held the Ohio against the world flag at the Notre Dame game. The what initiates a flag planting is you have to have a flagpole. Ohio State didn't have a flagpole. They weren't going to. They weren't going to uh, plant the flag anyways. I think what they might have would have done is laid the flag over the block M, but
yeah. That's what I was thinking they were gonna do when I
I
saw
saw I
when you
saw
see the other side
Jermaine Matthews had a
with
belt.
the belt in Julian's post game interview. I was like, what is he doing?
I mean, in reality, like they're going to enjoy the Pinstripe Bowl or the Cheez It Bowl. There's a lot of rumors saying that it's going to be Michigan and Texas in the Cheez It Bowl. So,
Mm,
That'd be hilarious.
that'd be a good one. That should be. I'll definitely be tuning into that one.
the
It
11 o'clock New Year's Day game.
I gotta credit Julian saying though, calm, cool, and collected. He threw that pick early, and I don't even think it was that bad of a pick. I think he was just trying to force it to Jeremiah early. I thought the first play when
Should have been
bombed
caught.
they bombed it deep to Tate. When it hit him in the hands, square in the hands, I was like, I know he didn't catch it, but I'm like, oh, we got that all day. Like we're gonna hit a couple of those. I was like, we're good. Like he came out firing. I'm like, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it was
you
a
know, they say,
fun day.
go ahead, Cass.
Go ahead.
They say they've said for years that the run game prevails, and it's kind of crazy when you're all freshman running back sits there and just out yardages your whole team.
I mean, they
Yeah.
had 115 yards of total offense in the 115 yards rushing in the first half, and then finished with 100 yards. So
I'll I'll say this because I try to I'm obviously super biased to Ohio State, but I got to be fair on this. I do think some Michigan fans have a point. I think the game would have been a lot closer if Haynes and Marshall both played and were fully healthy. I do think it's a lot closer of a game. I think we would have had maybe at times a little difficulty stopping the run against that two-headed monster. But at the end of the day, the defense did their job. The defense played phenomenal, no touchdowns, but I will say they do have a point there. I'll give them that. That's the only thing I'll give Michigan fans is they're
yeah,
too weren't
but if
healthy.
that would have happened, and Ohio State would have opened up their offense more and would have
Yeah,
just because they couldn't stop us.
yeah. I'll give the hypothetical win to them, but this isn't the SEC. It's the Big
I,
Ten.
I ain't giving hypothetical crap. We dealt with this crap for 4 years, man. Like we dealt with the false counting. We've dealt with Dave Portnoy, who now all of a sudden is not going to go to the Big Ten championship. He decided to leave when the game wasn't even over, even though he said he was a man of his word. He talked about how Ryan Day was such a coward. That dude is a coward. And the fact that he's got to pay $1,000 into Ohio State NIL.
I think they should pay. I think that should go to Nolan Bondu because he got checked by Marsh or whatever, and they both finished with the same stat line: zero catches, 0 yards. So I think that should go to Bondu because he's a glue guy of this team.
Yeah,
Was it Nick? It's not Nick Marsh at the Michigan State. Is it Alec Marsh? I don't even know. He didn't do anything. I don't even remember his name.
Marsh,
Marsh.
Marsha for the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
So
Um, but yeah, no, it's just it was a great game. I'm happy. Um, Kenyatta also played great.
yeah,
Brandon Bowen called that too. He said, I remember we were doing TSB live last week, and we asked Brandon like, "Oh, who's a player you think might flash?" He goes, "I think Kenyatta Jackson's gonna." And he had a sack. He was all over the place. Really, I think one of the defensive players of the game. So I just gotta credit Brandon there for that call.
yeah. I mean, all around great effort. I thought Caden Curry played well.
Uh,
Caden McDonald played well. Speaking with which, did you see the clean sweep of the Big Ten awards for the
mm,
Ohio State defense?
yeah,
It's it was awesome.
I mean, Caden McDonald is just a menace. Like, and that leads into the what's going to happen this week. I know a lot of the talk is obviously the big news today. We all, let's throw the elephant in the room. Brian Hartline's headed to South Florida, which is a genius move for Brian Hartline. Timing, yeah, messed up. We all have our, Dan and I have some, kind of a little bit of disagreement on how it should be felt and stuff, but he's he wasn't going. He was. It's a great move for where he's going to be. Um, he's going to take Bryson Rogers, probably Lincoln Keenholz, and James Peoples with him, and maybe Malik Hartford. So that's the rumor that could go with him. Those are some players'
okay,
names that were thrown out there, but yeah, it's gonna hurt. Right now, it's gonna hurt the 2026 class. Yes, that's gonna suck. However, what people don't realize is how young this offense still is,
yeah,
and what I think helps in this situation compared to others is there's a head coach on defense that Ryan Day
Yeah,
trusts for this playoff run. If Ryan Day has to kind of take some of those reins off of Hartline as Hartline prepares for South Florida, I think if if we had like if Jim Knowles was still the D coordinator or if Kerry Combs was still the defensive coordinator, then I would be really worried about the postseason run. I'm not worried. I know there's a lot of people out there that are worried about the postseason if it's going to affect or not. Yeah, it's going to affect a little bit, but his him leaving, he's staying for the rest of the way. But now it kind of with Matt Patricia being the defensive head man at defense on the defensive side of the ball, this helps Ryan Day if Ryan Hartline needs to step away for a little bit because there is two recruiting periods. You got one in February and then one that happened today. Um, that if Ryan Hartline needs to step away for a little bit to try to build a staff, Ryan Day is there as an offensive guru. Like, I have no doubts in my mind that we're still going to make a historical run.
dude, that made me feel a lot better. Um, I posted on Twitter earlier, and I was just frustrated at the timing. I said, I know it's
It
all
is
going to
the
work
timing's
out.
off. Like,
I
it
know,
is.
I said, I know it's all going to work out in the end for Ohio State because it will. In Cash, you kind of, I think you did a great job of explaining this. But I said, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Today has been disasters for the Buckeyes, and I said that, and I'm like, I want to clarify for people listening. It's disastrous for the wide receiver group, not for the linemen we've got, the guys on defense we've flipped, and a great recruiting class. But it's just from just looking at the wide receiver room, disaster today because like you lose Hartline, like he just developed all these guys. You look at just turn on the NFL on Sundays, it's everyone: JSN, Marv, Olave, Garrett Wilson, just everyone. Um, and then obviously, like people are like, "Oh, Jeremiah Smith could transfer now." Like he's not going to transfer, but it's like just to put that out there is scary. And then you lose, Dixon to USC, and then Chris Henry Jr. might flip. It wasn't a good day for the wide receiver room. It's not how I envisioned. I don't think how any of us envisioned waking up today. Is it the worst day ever? No. Is disaster a little dramatic? Probably, but Um, if you're grading this on the standard of what is a champion day for Ohio State, I don't think this was a championship level day for Ohio State. But like you said, it's going to be fine. And
Here's another thing that's going to make you feel better. And I know Jason's going to want to chime into this too.
yeah, oh yeah,
In the '90s, and this is probably because I'm an old fart and I'm an old man to the Silver Bulletin. I'm
yeah,
37 years old. I grew up in the '90s. In the '90s, we had Terry Glenn, Joey Galloway, David Boston, D. Miller, Buster Tillman, Chris Sanders, all starring in the NFL. And in
hmm
the early 2000s, we had Michael Jenkins, Chris Gamble, even though he was on the other side of the ball. Super Bowl MVP, Santonio Holmes, Ted Ginn Jr., like Anthony Gonzalez. In the 2010s, you had Corey Brown, you had uh,
Michael Thomas,
Michael Thomas,
here's your wide
Paris
receiver
Campbell,
coach. It'd be
like
laced up.
Paris Campbell, Devin Smith. Like we had for three, now getting ready to go on 4 decades, full of wide receivers that were coached by elite coaches. Losing Hartline, what he has done, yes, a lot of draft picks, a lot of first round draft picks, a lot of 5 stars, is not the all in be all of getting elite wide receivers. Of all the names that I just mentioned, that all went and started and played well in the NFL.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, you're totally not wrong. I
I
mean,
agree.
you mentioned the early 2000s guys. That's when I started watching being a Buckeye. Obviously, I'm a '90s kid, so I've kind of pulled that out of my hat. And people are like, you can't even name 10 great Buckeyes. And I'm like, oh, you just give me a second. I'll give you a 50 list. Here's my top 50.
and
And then
I just named 20 wide receivers in the last 3 decades.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you miss like Johnny
yeah, which is
Dixon,
crazy.
Austin Mack, Ben Victor, KJ Hill. I mean,
Noah Brown.
All NFL guys.
yeah, just no. The receiver room is gonna be fine. It's just I'm just bummed because it's like you could see the generational run. Maybe you know the run Ohio State has had with these receivers has just been insane, and it's gonna go probably more back to normal, like the KJ Hill, Ben Victor, like still great players, but it might just regress slightly. To me, I'm like that's disaster. To everyone else, it's like you're a spoiled, crazy Buckeye fan, which yes, I
You
am.
know what
I own that.
Yeah, we are.
this 10-year run of wide receivers reminds me of is it from 1985 to the year 2000 before we got Maurice Claret. You had Keith Byers, you had Pepe Pearson, you had Eddie George, Jonathan Wells, Joe Montgomery, Michael Wiley. You had this run of running backs in the late '80s to late '80s and the '90s, and then 2000. Obviously, you had Maurice Claret and all J.K. Dobb. All those. We had
Yeah.
some great solid running backs.
Beanie Wells.
What we had this last since 2015 in this run of wide receivers is what we had in 15 years in 10 years with running backs,
I
starting with
agree.
Keith Byers.
I mean, and maybe that's the way we're going because we have right now too. You have the running backs right now. The young running backs for Ohio State are awesome with Bo Jackson and
Beast
Isaiah
mode.
West. I mean, could we potentially be seeing a shift now towards the backs and not the receivers? Could it just be a shift in the philosophy of the offense? Maybe it's a blessing in disguise, and we're just going to run the ball down your throat now for the next 10 years instead of airing it out.
Well, it could be too that Ryan Day likes to throw the football. He's an NFL guy. We're still going to get 5-star wide receivers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep. I really don't see an issue in losing Brian
This
Hartline. I did see a rumor that Braxton Miller could be the new wideout coach too.
I saw that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, guys, who would you guys want to be the
I
wide
don't know
receiver?
how well to believe it.
I don't believe it. People joke about Mike Thomas too. That was because he was on the
here's the name.
sidelines last week.
If you want to keep the South Florida Express going, I think you give a shout out to Miami's offensive coordinator / wide receiver coach right now, Shannon Dawson.
Okay.
If you really want to keep that South Florida rise on there, because let's be honest, we can get him. Because if Keenan Bailey does jump ship
Yeah.
to South Florida with Brian Hartline, which I think he will.
I don't think he will because he just followed us on Twitter like 2 days ago. So I no, I why would you follow a Bunch of Nuts podcast
But
if you're leaving the floor?
but
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Keenan Bailey, what he's done with the tight end room, he's an elite recruiter.
Yeah.
Devin Jordan, it was in the same role as Brian Hartline was when Zach Smith was the wide receivers coach. Zach Smith, I know people hate Zach Smith, but what Zach Smith started with this wide receiver room and what Brian Hartline did with it, I think if you bring in Chip Kelly to replace Hartline and you give another role the keys to Keenan Bailey as a successor to Hartline, and you promote Devin Jordan as wide receivers coach, I don't think the wide receiver room takes that big of a hit. And I think that's what Ryan Day will do. He's either going to promote Billy Fessler or Keenan Bailey as offense coordinator, and he's going to bring in Chip Kelly again.
I believe is San Antonio Holmes a coach? I believe he's a
head coach somewhere.
Yeah, that was a rumor. I also saw, this one is also a pretty obvious one, Kenny Guyton.
Yeah, I saw that's the one I sent to you guys.
That's a big one. I think that one makes sense. Or we just do the sensible thing and let Jeremiah Smith just coach him. Just there you go. Player coach.
Jeremiah Smith tweeted out at Chris Henry Jr. say, "Hey, we need you, bro." And I know we have some people that, may say, "Oh, that's still nice try, Jeremiah." Okay, Jeremiah is the best wide receiver, best player in college football. You don't think Chris Henry Jr. is going to see that? Even Riley Pettijohn's mom is trying to lobby in for him to go. Earlier I thought he was going to sign with Oregon. I still think he will, but now I'm kind of convinced with all these players and these players' parents trying to say, "Hey, this is the place to be." Like, I could still really see him signing with Ohio State. But knowing who his godfather is, he's probably going to take the money.
I would hate for him to sign for a shoe deal. Didn't Devin Sanchez say that? Didn't he say don't go nowhere for a shoe deal? You come here to be BIA.
And just so you know, Chris Henry Jr.'s godfather is Pac-Man Jones. Just if anyone didn't.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's Pac-Man Jones.
That's why I made that comment.
Pac-Man Jones, our wide receiver coach.
No thanks.
No. But that's all I think that's all we really got on the wide receiver stuff. It's gonna work itself out. It's just not how I envisioned National Signing Day going. I think that we can all agree that we did not have this on our bingo card today. It's gonna be fine. I don't even care because we gotta win the Big Ten title, gentlemen. We have a game to play Saturday. It is. I'm telling you this right now. In the history of the Big Ten championship, this is the biggest Big Ten championship game ever. 1 versus 2. I don't believe that's ever happened before.
Yep.
Correct?
No, it's happened 2 times before. It's happened 2 times. Ohio State, Michigan. I forget what year it was. I just saw that. I just saw the.
Oh yeah, it was for the Big Ten outright Big Ten championship, but it wasn't the actual Big Ten championship game.
Yeah,
wasn't it Iowa, Michigan, like just a couple years ago, and it was 1 and 2?
No.
Michigan State and Iowa. I think it was a 5-6 in 2015.
And then it was in 2019. It was a 1-4 or a 1-5 because we were a number 1 team in the country.
In Wisconsin, I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, Wisconsin was 5, and then we beat them and went down to 2 and got screwed.
How did we go to 2?
Yeah. No, but this is the biggest Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis ever. Jason, you're going.
Yep.
I just want to say, loser of this game still absolutely should get a bye in the playoff.
Depends on I agree, but it depends. I think in the committee's eyes, if one team gets blown out, then they're not. I don't see them getting a bye, but I honestly do see it. I if Ohio State loses, they're going to 3. I don't see them going to 4.
I mean, if they go to 4, I'm happy because I'm like, oh, you got an easier path.
all on no, all honesty though, I don't. And this is what I think out of the 2 teams that will get screwed the most will be Indiana.
100%.
Yeah,
Because if
they get
Indiana
looked down
loses
on really
Ohio
hard.
State, I think if Indiana loses Ohio State, they're going to 4 or 5. Um, and I think well, it all depends what Texas Tech does too. And
Mhm.
I'm glad that Texas Tech game's at noon. By the way,
Yeah.
We'll be watching it outside Lucas Oil Stadium.
yeah.
I'm
So
excited for
like
Duke, the Duke, Virginia man. I'm a Blue
Duke,
Devil for life after
I'm
the
telling
World.
you right now, Duke
Dude,
has the funniest thing. They could do the funniest thing. They could. Somebody said that Duke, if Duke wins, then James Madison in North Texas, since they would be the highest ranked conference champions over an ACC, they would be the 2. They would represent, and there would be no ACC champion in the game.
yeah, no, I'm pulling for Duke. We got to pull for Duke, gentlemen. But the game, back to the game. Um, how we feeling? How we feeling? Like, are we concerned about Indiana? I'm a little concerned. I think this is gonna be a
No,
I think it's gonna be a really good game.
I think it's going to be a really good game, but I think it's going to come down to if Fernando Mendoza can fire his arm off. He runs like Bryce Underwood does, and you saw what we did to Bryce Underwood when we contained him in the pocket. He
Mhm.
can't get anywhere, and he sucks at throwing. I don't now. I'm not saying Mendoza's a bad quarterback. I think he's very, very good. He's also obviously the second Heisman front runner right behind Julian Sayin, but I think if we contain Mendoza's legs, I think we stop him.
I think we have too much firepower for them. We have too much
Marvell Reese is
firepower
going
and
to mess
too
him
much
up.
talent. They're going to score the most points against us. I do believe that.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
but I just don't. They got a good defense. They just don't have enough to stop. And people were talking about, well, it was close last year. I was like, well, one, it was cold and it was outdoors and windy last year.
Mm.
And they're like, well, how do
Yep.
you know? I was like, well, I was there.
And it's also before we truly opened it
Me
up,
too.
opened up the playbook and
Like,
played
and
relentless.
think about it. Last week against Michigan was the last bad weather game we're going to have for the rest
Yep.
of the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you right now, it's about to be a fast track in Indianapolis. And I think Brian Day is going to open this offense up. And I think they're going to try to prove a point that, hey, with Hartline leaving, our goals are still to win the Big Ten. This team, that's all they have talked about this whole season is getting a pair of gold pants and winning the Big Ten championship.
And then
They're
going
going to
back to
be
win
ready to
playoffs.
go. Indiana is a great team, great story, great football team, great coach. I just don't think they have enough firepower. Granted, I saw them play Illinois. They played them at home. Illinois had 3 defensive backs out in that game. And they played well against Oregon at Oregon, but we watched what they've done lately. They have not been that explosive.
I'll say this about Indiana. I think their defense isn't I think their defense will get exposed a little bit by our offense. I like
For sure.
Kamara. Their edge guy, he only has 1 sack on the year. He can be a game record. I think he played good against us last year, but what just concerns me about Indiana is just their offense. They have so many pieces. They have like 3 good receivers: Surratt, Cooper, Williams. They got Hemby. They got another back. They have a lot of good pieces on offense. So there's a lot you can do. I think it's gonna come down to a chess match on with Indiana's offense versus Matt Patricia. That's gonna be the difference in this game. I think Ohio State is gonna put up a lot of points on their end. But I see this being a shootout. I think this is going to be the first time Ohio State's defense gets some points put on them, and that's okay. It's going to happen. We're in these are championship level games. We got to be able to fight back. I think this is going to be a shootout between Mendoza and Sayin. I think both teams put up over 28 points.
I don't go 28. I do think Ohio State scores a lot of points, though.
Yeah, I say I do know that something that I would do, like you said, they have three great wideouts, right? Because we have Jermaine Matthews, we have Davidson and Benos, and the next dude you need to put on their inside slot is put Caleb Downs on him.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, Caleb Downs can roll down, but if we go and play zone, where's that put Caleb? That puts Caleb down in the flat. If they run a slant, Caleb's going to just take their head off.
I'm curious because this week too, Ohio State, if they want, they can utilize Malik Hartford and CJ Hicks now because like
Yep.
they were just saving them for the red shirts. I'm curious if that comes into play. Some new packages come into play. I think we'll see Hicks in some
I think
certain.
we're going to see Arvell. Arvell's been quiet for the past couple weeks. I think he's going to pop off.
Okay, I like that. No, I think Hicks
I
is going to
think
come in and make a play or two because he was dominant against Texas, and then they just kind of kept him on a
So
leash.
the line is 5. It's been 5, 5.5 all week. The line is 5, but I got the Ohio State over. I mean, if we were betting people, I would if you were betting on this game, I would take the Ohio State over. I have Ohio State winning by 2 scores. I really do. I have Ohio State winning 35-21.
I don't bet. I think it's gonna be a classic. I think Jason, you're gonna go to the most cinematic game of the year. This is gonna be back and forth. It's gonna be a dogfight. I think Ohio State wins in a classic 35-34. And saying locks up the Heisman and has a Heisman moment. And Gus Johnson's gonna have a brain aneurysm because it's just gonna be the craziest game.
I think it's going to be a really good game. But I think our second half, Ohio State pops out. Our defense locks down. I think we win 28-17.
Do you think Do you think the whole how many what percentage of it is it going to be Indiana fans versus Buckeye fans? Because you are our Indiana expert.
I know Ohio State travels good. I know they travel really well. So knowing that and knowing how crazy IU fans are, I think it'll be about a 50-50 in all honesty.
50-50. Okay, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna
I
be
mean, you're an hour from Bloomington, Indiana, and you're 2 hours away from the shoe. So I think it's about an even travel, and I think Ohio State. I mean, what the last time we were there, we were playing Wisconsin, weren't we? Oh, Northwestern.
yeah.
Yeah, in 2020, and Trey Sermon decided to break Eddie George's record.
Yep, yep. Because the last Big Ten championship I was at was when they played Northwestern. That
Yeah.
was 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
I went in
felt the ass.
2019.
But no, I think the IU fans are going to come out. I think we get a lot of hate, especially when they see that Indiana license plate and they see a Buckeyes jersey hanging over it. Um, but I really don't care. Um, I'll just translate it to this week. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Indiana because fuck you. And we're gonna run in, and it's like the videos I saw earlier. Come in your trap, take your trap. Sorry.
I love it, dude. I love it. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good weekend in college football. Um, Man, that's all I really got. Cash, you got anything else?
I really hope Bama loses this week and they miss the
Same.
playoffs again, so my
Same.
cousins can shut up.
Same. Yeah,
I
same.
cut. And by the way, get ready. Ohio State's going to need a week 3 opponent.
Oh no. No, yeah, they're gonna totally yeah. I see where this is going. Um
That's for
I,
another day.
by the way, last thing, Diego Pavia, great story. No, not a Heisman candidate. Like if
No.
any voter that's putting in their ballots before clock strikes zero in the Big Ten championship, you deserve to be beaten, whipped, tarred, feathered, publicly shamed in public. You should never have a vote. The Heisman's going to be decided Saturday night. We need to make that clear. It's
Yep.
Saying versus Mendoza.
And if
That's
if they both play crappy, then Jeremiah Love should win it.
yeah. But
I don't think Julian Sand's gonna have a negative game. I don't think he throws a pick this game.
well, if he
I think
does,
he's
if he does, he'll face some adversity and be able to recover and
yeah.
boost his Heisman stock. But that's all we got. Zoom's about to kick us off. Good luck, Buckeyes. Good luck to all those traveling this weekend to Indianapolis. Go Bucks and beat the Hoosiers, baby. Let's bring home the first
So
Big Ten
oh wait,
title since 2020.
Yes, sir. OH.
IO.